Yeah, it's always a special race, the national title, so I'm looking forward to this one. Just going through the start list, there's a couple that obviously stand out in this one as probably your favourites. I've got a few sentimental favourites as well.
Okay.
So I'll be definitely looking out for those guys. One of those is Michael Roger. Obviously, I've been doing some training with these distance boys. He's another one in that stable with Philo Saunders, Keely Small, Josh Tawley is another one.
Oh, he's
so
out
I'm actually
there.
running around with some decent distance runners. So
yeah,
it's actually
a good
been
squad.
interesting. Yeah, so I'll be cheering on for those guys in this one for sure.
I'm not sure why Michael Roger's unattached. I'm sure he's got a state somewhere. South Australia?
He's actually South Australian, so he's based here in the ACT, but he's remained loyal to his South Australian background, which is obviously fine. Happy for him to do that because it's stuff you've got to sort of hold on to. So definitely going to be a good one in this one.
But save the best for last. The biggest field, 23 athletes in this field. And these guys are looking for that 13:22.60 as they've just gotten underway. I'd like to see a quick pace here, but obviously being a national championship, they can't be pacemakers.
Yeah, definitely. And just going on the look at the field at the moment, obviously they're all bunched up, and the back guys, it looks like they're just sort of running this one through at the moment. And that's what happens in these championship races, and sometimes they're not always won in a quick time.
No.
Obviously, people are out there and they really want to take this medal home with them, and you can't blame them for that one. So I don't know if the pace is actually going to be hot in this one, so we may not see a qualifier in this event, but I think we're definitely going to see a very exciting race, though.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously we've only got a few of these athletes have gone under 14 minutes. Dave McNeil's got a 13:18 to his name, and but recently this year, Dave McNeil, 13:29.11, and Stewie McSwain, 13:34.45. I think they went over to New Zealand. There was a very quick 5K over there. Brett Robinson took it out. But these guys, maybe they're feeling pretty good after that race, and they think they can get that 13:22.
Yeah, obviously I hope so. But if this goes on much longer, it's going to make it more and more difficult for them to do that. But as we see, we obviously got a couple of runners coming to the front. There's Tim Lefroy. He's an ex-WA athlete. He's now moved over here to the ACT, and he's in the Philo stable as well. So he's been running really well. So we'll see how he goes. He's moved to the front, and obviously he's going to help the rest of these pack lead it through, and hopefully they can sort of speed up this pace a little bit and string the field out.
Yeah, certainly. You see Nick Earl there right out front from Victoria. And these guys, they might not be at the end, but these guys are making a difference here in this race, and it seems that they've broken the pack up now, and from what was maybe a spread over 5 metres, it looks like it's spread over 40 metres now.
Yeah, definitely. And it's good to see. I like this sort of racing. And you've got a lot of the ACT locals up there with Lefroy. I can see Michael Roger, Jordan Guzman as well. So they're really making sure this pace is starting to get honest, which is good to see.
So we'll see when they come around. This should be their 1K split when they hit the finish line. I'll try and see how quickly I can work out what pace they're on after this first K. So that's Earl out in front, followed by Tim Lefroy. 2:56. So they're moving. I think they might need to pick that up if they want to. When they see Tim straight, he's winding it up even more now.
Yeah, no, it's good to see it. And obviously, we said the pace at the start was a little bit pedestrian, but for the average person, it's not so pedestrian.
No.
Obviously, going through in 2:56,
Still
that's still a solid K time, and it's not something that a lot of people can do. So even though it may look like they're going out at a bit of a snail's pace, for them, it's still fairly hot.
Yeah, if they keep that pace up, they'll be around that 14 mids, and I think they want to get under the 13s, or they're into the 13s. I'm sure they want to get under the 13s eventually.
Yeah, it's definitely that mark for these 5K guys. If they can go 13, it's really sort of stamping themselves in this field as a serious contender. So obviously they'll all be out there to try and see if they can get down to that mark. And Tim Lefroy is leading from the front right now, and he's trying to do that. It's one of those things, sometimes it takes one of those athletes to really sort of take off and get this pace moving.
Yeah,
and
exactly. He's PB this year, 14:14.60 is what he's done this year. So it's handy. And there's a lot of guys around that time. And if it comes down to it, he could be in the mix for a medal.
Yeah, I actually saw him do that race, and it was only a couple of competitors in it. There wasn't a massive field as we've got here, so he's obviously in some shape leading into this. So hopefully this is good. Hopefully he can stay off the fronts, really start to string this field out, and we might even see a bit of a breakaway form, I reckon.
Yeah, well, the more, let's say, class athletes back in the field there, they really might need to turn it on. They don't want to let these guys get too far in front. Obviously, it could be an unknown factor, and if they stay there and keep moving along, they could take it out.
Yeah, just looking at that now, obviously we've got Josh Johnson moving up into third place. He was back in the pack a little bit before, but he's starting to shift up a little bit, as well as Dave McNeil just sitting off his shoulder there. He's also thought, hey, I better start to move up, and then you can see Stewie McSwain just behind him there in the Nike kit, those two runners running around. Obviously easy ones to point out, but just behind Stewie McSwain, you've got Michael Rogo, as I said before, world record holder in the Para 1500. He did that up in Sydney, which was obviously a fantastic run. His coach actually rang me that night trying to get the number for Asada to make sure we get the test, because obviously the test has to be done within 24 hours to obviously ratify a world record.
You need it.
So he was on to me. It was about 10 o'clock at night. You know, I was just about to go to bed, and I get this call saying, do you have any contact details for Asada? So obviously, I don't know why I have that sort of stuff, but I passed it on. And
you just went on Facebook, Asada, sent him a quick inbox.
Yeah, but obviously we got the test done, and it was ratified, and it was all good. So that was good to see.
Well, I do remember Emma Coburn, I think in 2014, she got the national record for the USA in the steeplechase. No drug testers in the building. Doesn't count.
Yeah, it's a tough one when that sort of stuff happens, you know. And that's one of those things, obviously, ASADA need to be on this sort of stuff. So they need to be looking at start lists of a lot of these events to make sure that these athletes, they're not missing out on athletes who are going out and doing these top performances.
It would be nice to do the call and say, look, guys, I'm planning on breaking the national record, a world record, so you just want to come down, I'm ready. Don't forget, even though this is the last event tonight, we'll be back. We'll have a good couple of hours break, maybe 12, 14 hours. Back again, starting the stream at 10:30 a.m. So remember to tune in tomorrow on all the medians that you used today. Use them again tomorrow, and we'll have plenty more action left. Looks like Josh Johnson there now. He's out in front. Don't forget that is daylight savings time on the East Coast, so you don't want to wake up too early and miss the stream, miss all the action. And it looks like Johnson and Tawley now. So is this an ACT training 1, 2, 3 at the moment until McSwain pulls himself up there into the third position?
No, Josh Johnson's actually a Dick Telford athlete, so he's running around with Dick at the moment, as well as Jordan Guzman, who's another Dick Telford athlete. Tawley has been doing some stuff with Philo at the moment, as well as Rogue, so those two do a lot together, so they know each other fairly well. But obviously ACT is a small place, little territory, so all the athletes know each other quite well, and so if they can utilise each other in this one, I'm sure they will.
Yeah, why not? Joshua Johnson out in front. About to hit the 3K split, 8:32.78, which is not too bad.
Yeah, no, it's definitely moving. It's moving a lot faster than you or I could definitely do. So
I don't want to run
the pace
3K.
The pace has obviously picked up after that first K, and that time's proved it there.
Yeah,
I think we could see this pace maybe even increase slowly as we go through it.
Yeah, so that's Johnson out in front, McSwain, McNeil, Guzman, and it looks like Riley Cox just there in the blue, getting past. I can't see that guy's hip number. His shirt's untucked. If we went back into the 50s, he'd probably be disqualified for having his shirt untucked. Unfortunately, not these days. These young rascals.
Yeah, I'm just taking a punt at this one, but I just, by looks of it could be Chris Hamer.
Well, Chris Hamer, it could be. Chris Hamer does have a sub 14 in him. 13:58.99, his PB. So, wouldn't be surprised to see him that far up in front of the pack. But McNeil now. He's a two-time Olympian over the 5 and the 10,000 metres, London and Rio.
Definitely some talent in Dave McNeil's legs for sure. Obviously, Stu McSwain, he's obviously seen the attack. He's jumped up onto the back of him. And there's Jordan Gusman as well, just behind him. So Jordan's in fantastic form. So I don't see why he can't match it with these two athletes.
Yeah, certainly, and from those two in front, they'll probably want to pick the speed up and take that kick out of Gusman's legs. Obviously, he's a much faster 1,500-metre runner.
Yeah, definitely. They've got to watch out for that one because obviously he's going to have some legs at the end of this one. So if the pace doesn't increase too much more, he's obviously he's a bit of a dark horse in this one. Obviously, the front two have got better times over the 5K to Gusman, but if they give him any sort of sniff at this one, they better watch out.
Yeah, exactly. And he's tucked in right in close. Only 3 laps to go. So 1,200 metres left. 13:22.60. That's the time to hit. But like we said for Heidi C, taking the national title puts you at the front seat. You can worry about the time later. You can only win the national title once a year.
Yeah, and that's definitely right. And it's one of those things. What I'm actually interested to see here is if Dave McNeil does all this work off the front himself, or whether Stuart McSwain or Jordan Gusman decides they might take a little bit of a go at the front just to help things out a little bit, because 1,200 out, it's a long way to go on your own from running from the front.
Oh, exactly. And like Lefroy did all that work early, same as in the girls' race. Gemma Maney was out in front the whole time, but then this extra speed just comes through in those later stages and have worked their way up. They all look pretty comfortable, though.
Yeah, they definitely do. It's interesting. I don't know whether it's surging or whether Stewie's just letting Dave go a little bit, but every now and then he seems to get a couple of metres and he comes back. He gets a couple of metres and then comes back. So it might be just the different running styles and patterns of the two runners that's causing that. Obviously, Dave McNeil's not of the height of Stewie McSwain, so the stride length is a little shorter. So maybe Stewie likes to have that little bit of a gap just to give his own air in front of him and so that he can maintain his own stride, because there are a lot of athletes out there who aren't too comfortable sitting in behind someone, because sometimes you get into someone else's stride pattern and it may be different to what you're comfortable with.
So this is really falling into Gusman's hands if they stay this close and they don't start to break it. They've only got 600 metres left. Clock around 12:20. So they need to do a 1 minute and 1 second, 600 metres to get this World Champs qualified. Don't think it's going to happen tonight.
I don't think that's going to happen. Obviously, that would be a fantastic time, even over a 500.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we're definitely not going to see a qualifier here, but we're seeing some 13-minute runs, I reckon.
I think we're definitely going to see a 13 here. As we go, 4:50 to go. McSwain's gone to the lead. McNeil still holding on, though. McSwain's made the move, and this is where it's all going to happen. The clock, 12:50. So we'll see if they can go a sub-minute last lap, and I'm pretty sure they will. We should see something in those 13:40s, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think all these athletes will be pretty happy with that time, I would say, coming out here. Because as we saw before, the pace at the start wasn't hot. So obviously that's affected them quite a little bit, going through in 2:56 for the first
Well,
K.
2:50 to go, Dave McNeil. We talked about Gusman's speed, but Dave McNeil had something up his sleeve, and he's just turned it on. The pure leg speed of the two-time Olympian over the 5 and 10.
Yeah, you can see the turnover rate difference between Dave McNeil and Stewie McSwain. And here comes Gusman. He's challenging McSwain. See if he can get up for that silver medal. But it looks like Dave McNeil's got a runway with this one. He's surged away. He's got about 15 metres on the rest of this field. But Gusman's starting to come through now.
This is going to be very quick. Dave McNeil take out the national title. 13:47. Gusman will get under his first sub-14. But that's just another national title to add to Dave McNeil's rack. In 2010, he did the NCAA double, won the indoor and outdoor 5,000 metres, and this is his distance. Spent a bit of time over in college in America, handy over the cross country. In the Big Sky Conference, he went to Northern Arizona University and was named number 8 of the 50 greatest male athletes in the Big Sky Conference over in USA. So I'm sure that's a great accolade to have. Not sure who was number 1, but number 8's not bad.
That's not bad at all. He's top 10 all time. I don't think I'm top 10 all time in anything. So,
well, I'll have a look at that for you, Ben. We'll see where you are. But there's the national title for Dave McNeil, and I don't doubt that he'll run 13:22.
Yeah, definitely. I think if he gets in a hot race, we're definitely going to see him go under that qualifying time. Yeah, obviously the first part of this race really sort of affected that for him. But look, he's got some fans in there. Looks, they've got some banners out there for him. So he's got some support that has come down here and supported him at the national title.
Big Sky Conference fans, I think.
It's a long way to travel, but for someone in the top 10 all time, it's not a bad thing.
7, mate. 7 all time. Selling yourself short. Yeah, 7. Come on. No, I don't think I'm top time, except for the 400 metres in Australia. That's all. But there's a replay. Look at that speed of Dave McNeil. He toiled 2:50 to go. And so really, he's put himself in the box seat because now, effectively, there's only 2 spots.